Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to yet another episode of Success Principles by Successful Principles. For the ones who know me, my name is Kamalneet Singh. And for the ones who don't know me, my name is still Kamalneet Singh. The name doesn't change. And I'm really excited about this episode yet again. I'm also the host and also your host in your journey of parenting. And I know that parenting is not an easy journey, yet a beautiful journey, but then sometimes easy, sometimes complicated. So it's a combination. And they say that in our country, in fact, across the world, we have everything. We have a degree to manufacture a pin, and we have a degree to manufacture a plane. But the moment it comes to parenting, there is a lot of hit and trial. While there is nothing wrong with hit and trial, but at the same time, sometimes there are damages that happen during the trial and error, which are not really repairable. And I'm on this mission to make a difference in a journey called parenting, because I strongly believe that every father is a superman and every mother is a superwoman. And conscious parenting is a that's the real power. And if they can unleash that power, it not only makes a difference in the life of their kids, it also makes a difference in their own life, and it leaves a ripple effect in the society. And to take this journey forward, I'm very thankful that we have had educators who joined us from different parts of the globe, different parts of the country. And on this journey today, on this episode today, I'm really excited about this. We have a very, 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 very special educator who I have had the privilege, to know her personally. In fact, the educator that I'm talking about, I've had the privilege to be associated with them and their school in the capacity of doing workshops for teachers, kids, and parents. And I know that you as parents, I know that parents are greedy, right? And everybody is greedy. I know you are greedy about getting the best of the session. And my appeal to all the parents out there is that to get the best out of the session, have a pen and a paper, and whatever the ideas that you really like, jot them down so that you can implement them right after the session gets over. So really looking forward. And on this show, we have with us today Miss Rita Singh. Madam, first of all, thank you very much for your consent to be a part of the show. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to have you with us on the show today.
Entirely my pleasure, Kamalneet.
So it's parenting is a journey, and then the best part is that educators like you have seen thousands of parents, different scenarios, different situations, and you have a lot of experience under you that I'm very sure will benefit the parents with your experience. So before we go forward, for all the parents out there, for all the viewers out there, let me give you a little brief about our educator today. So we have with us Ms. Rita Singh. Currently, she's the director of Indirapuram Group of Institutions, a very, very premium, a very, very popular chain of institutions for their quality work. Now, she has been a winner of National Teachers Award, CBSE 2019 in principal category. She has been a master trainer with CBSE. I must say that you wear so many hats. And for CCE evaluation, she's a trainer for value education, facilitator for Equips, and has been mentoring government schools, and has also been a trainer for Telangana government teachers in core skills under British Council program. Has been involved with collaborative educational programs in the UK, in the US, Australia, Switzerland, Germany, and many, many more places. Highly qualified, masters in mathematics. Now, I would probably be very honest in telling you that's one subject that I really dreaded during school days. She's a master's in mathematics, a master's in business administration, as well as in education. She's done various courses from IIM Lucknow, Management Imperative for Educational Institutions from IIT Delhi, and multiple intelligences from Harvard University. Now, there are people who are very particular about doing one thing, but having known her, I know that she's done a lot of things, and she's a jack of all. Multifaceted consultant with British Council, Educational Quality Foundation of India, mentoring students from underprivileged background through Freedom Employability Agency, runs an evening school for street children since 2015, advocate of sustainable development goals, and a kindness ambassador. I love the word kindness ambassador with SDG Chopal, member of GELP, keen sportswoman with interest in athletics, camping, trekking, white water rafting, and hang gliding. Wasn't I right in saying that the educator with us today has multiple hats to wear? So, madam, once again, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, I know that we have dealt with parents, and all the parents have this concern. I would rather say not concern, but maybe a desire that our kids, our kids should become successful in life. They should become good human beings. In fact, you and I, in fact, every human being has this core desire that they would want to be successful. Now, and success is a very, very broad term, right? So,
Absolutely.
I'm going to put this ball in your court by asking you now that success is a very broad term. How do you define success? What is your definition of success?
I don't think, Kamalneet, I'm going to give any fixed definition of success.
Right.
Let me try. If I have to really give it in few words, I would probably say attainment of favorable or desired outcomes. But what is the desired outcome of some gentleman out there is to rob a bank? So do we call him a successful person, since in this case he was successful in attaining the desired outcomes? So coming back to the confusion that you started, how do we actually put it down in few words? I would rather call those persons as successful who are probably productive and happy citizens.
Okay.
It has to be through the route of being physically fit,
All right.
mentally alert, and
Okay.
morally upright. These are the three words which I also put down in my school's mission vision as well.
Right.
I feel this is the route, because this is the way you kind of bring in a perfect balance of body, mind, and soul. So I would put it this way, as a person who can actually be productive citizen, who's of course happy with himself or herself.
So I picked up some very powerful words. I think you kind of define success like a recipe that comes together. When you say that, I'm looking at success being, wherein people are productive, people are happy, people are physically fit, people are mentally fit. And you said the last thing which I skipped. What was that?
Morally upright. I mean,
Morally upright.
without ethics, we can't really reach anywhere.
True. So powerful. It's a, you're given that punch tantra, right? So all the parents out there, all the parents watching this, if these 5 things they come in place, that's how success can also be viewed. This also breaks the monotony of looking at success from a filter of money. And I'm glad that you broke that filter and you gave a very different definition of success. Now, I know that while kids are studying in the school, it's comparatively a safe environment. And when kids go out in the real world, there is competition. There are things happening on the ground level. It isn't as simple as it is, while they're young and they're studying in the school and the college. So all the parents eventually want and the kids will eventually step out of the school and they will step into the life school, the real school. So what do you think? What makes a child successful in the real life?
I think you want it from the parents' view. I mean, if I look at the real life, let's call this real life as their work life.
Yes.
For first stage of understanding. If you mean work life, then I think what a parent would probably want is having a kid who's financially self-sustaining, for sure.
Right.
Not only that, I mean, I think a kid or a person or a man who's now in the big world, who's able to solve his day-to-day life problems. Those could range from tying your own shoelace to cooking your own meals to, say, keeping your home or area of work clean, or to resolving relationship issues with maturity, or to finding happiness in small things, or to filling your company's GST or taxes correctly, and so on and so forth. Yeah. I mean, these are the life problems that a person will probably have to go through. So what does the child needs to go through to actually achieve all this? The child, I think, must be exposed to day-to-day work. It could start from laying tables to changing bulb. The work profile, of course, at home should be age appropriate. I mean, hence, it has to keep changing. For instance, it can begin with passing tomatoes from refrigerator to chopping tomatoes later to prepare tomato soup later in the later years. So this is as regards the home management. And as far as the relationship management is concerned, I think there is, one has to be self-aware first. One has to understand oneself. That's the most important to be able to manage anything in the later stage. Self-management will come in probably later. To bring in the self-awareness is the most important thing. Bring in self-management later, which people call it as intrapersonal skills, etc. Then comes in interpersonal skills through which you help your child learn relationship management. And when we talk about relationship, it could be handy in home, of course, and your own within the family relationship, later on marital relationship, or with your partners. And of course, it definitely is much more desired for in the work life as well. So having a robust social emotional skills will, I think it's the first step to success.
In the real life, I think you have put it beautifully. I think you spoke about, not only interpersonal skills, but you also touched base on the intrapersonal skills and their ability to maintain relationships in different spheres of their life, be it be it their friends, maybe be it in the workplace, once they get married, and with their respective spouses, and all along. And
And
so
not
this,
putting down the procedural skills in any lighter light. I mean, life
right,
skills which you have been so good at. I mean, I remember your program which came up so beautifully in our own school. Smaller children were tying laces in your program, and the elder children were trying to manage their own emotions. And so, all these things are very, very important as you aspire to see your children grow and succeed eventually.
correct. So to all the parents out there, I think so the key word to take right now for all of you is, as she said, that it's a combination of social skills, it's a combination of emotional skills, it's of course a combination of also procedures, and also being able to maintain relationships, and holistic growth is what you are referring to be successful in the real world out there, if I can put that in one line.
Absolutely.
I was smiling in between because you used the word chopping, and I would not shy away from saying that, even if it goes out. For a brief stint, I worked in a hotel, and there's a whole journey behind that, and my head chef would give me 40 kgs of sacks of onions to cut, and I would become a master at chopping. And later you realize that these simple things, though you won't like it in the moment, I didn't like it in the moment, chopping 40 kgs of onions. I felt, it was a torture. But then later I see that there was something in that also to pick up, a basic
True.
skill. And though
Absolutely.
I hope my wife is not watching this, because I don't chop onions at home anymore. So you have, I'll move to the next part, wherein you have met parents all across, and thousands of them with different situations, different challenges, coming from different walks of life. And I'm very curious to understand from you that, have you noticed a pattern in terms of a non-supportive pattern in the whole process of parenting, anything that you think has not gone in the right direction in terms of a pattern that's arising out of it?
I would say whatever the bad examples of parenting or bad examples of output of the end result of that parenting
Right.
has been wherever there has not been free and open communication between the parent and the child.
Okay.
Communication has been a key factor because to human is err, and for the children, I mean, I think they should be granted even more chances of erring. And in this situation, whenever there is a problem that a child comes across, or suppose he's made a mistake, if there isn't an open communication with the person who believes in you the most, who should believe in you the most, if he is not kind of talked to. So this is one pattern I've seen. Wherever there has been a lack of communication, there has been problems, because child has probably sought answers elsewhere, or not always got right answers. And one big thing that I have seen is, I'm bringing in probably a very controversial topic right here: not valuing teachers' contribution in students' life. I can also put it vice versa. Teachers also being judgmental about how the child is being brought up at home. So see, it's the same 24 hours within which we take over and hand over child to one another.
True.
I mean, of course, we are not in physical space today, but then at 8 o'clock, even in the online classes, at roughly say at 8 o'clock, those set of children are with the teachers.
Correct.
And eventually, after the classes get over, and then they're back with their home, and then they're in the living room with their parents. What is parent seeking, or what is the teacher seeking from their child? Eventually, both set of people are doing the same task of bringing up, if I can refer to the word that I used initially, productive and happy citizen to the world. Both of us are trying the same thing.
Right.
Both have their own way. In certain situations, teachers are teaching the procedural skills of the differentiation between diode and triad wall, or how the integration is different from differentiation, or how did the Harappa civilization came up. And in certain cases, they're kind of sitting with them and telling, Acha, this happened with you. Yeah, I understand your point of view. I mean, basically, if you look at it, it's the same thing that both the set of people are doing. So why the clash? I really don't understand why this the two parties. It's we are actually both doing this. This is one thing. Wherever there has been good teacher and parent relationship, it has resulted in a very, very happy child in school, and hence a very happy learner. So these are the few things which I have seen amiss.
I think you have raised a few crucial points, and I'll not shy away from sharing something that I witnessed once. I entered a school. I was supposed to meet the head of the school, and while I was waiting at the reception, I saw this parent walking in with his son, the father, and something had happened. The background of which I wasn't really aware of, because I was sitting there, and I saw the father speaking to the lady at the reception in a way which was inappropriate. And the message was loud and clear that if anybody says anything to you, your teacher says anything to you, I am there, to handle your teacher. And, I felt that while the child would have been enjoying the whole part that, I got my dad to deal with the teacher, but then I think in the long run, it's a
Yeah.
fire back strategy. It's
There's
a
a
fire
short-term
back.
solution.
Correct.
You're kind of brushing the problem under the carpet. You're right.
Right.
Absolutely right.
And to all the parents out there, and it's a humble request and it's a humble appeal that teamwork makes the dream work, and that's exactly coming from Madam also, that if teacher and parents can work in harmony, and if they can work in sync, yet at the same time, I can vouch for the fact that there can be mistakes on both the sides, and there can be something that as a parent you do not agree to, or maybe you do not agree to the way something was delivered by the teacher. Pretty much okay, taken, but the
Absolutely.
way you communicate that to the child or in front of the child, that is going to have an impact. I think, madam, that's what you were trying to
Absolutely.
and I think if we can come together, when I say we as in parents, I'm also a parent, so if we as parents and teachers can come together, I think that's when we can rock the world of the child in a positive way. So
Absolutely.
talking about parenting, madam, that's a crucial point you raised, and I see no controversy in that. I see that this is the need of the hour, all the more when teachers are available right in your rooms, when teachers are available metaphorically right on the screen, being available, and you see that they are right there with the kids. It's not easy, and I think let's take this moment also to honor the teachers, because teachers had to undergo transformation overnight. you know
True.
they really had to undergo transformation overnight. So that's that. And so what would you say, uh, given your experience, and you're sitting on decades of experience, what would you say, what would be your top three? Let me probably put it in a manner that that can be, probably we can look at it point wise. What will be your top three suggestions to parents that will make a difference in their life?
First and foremost, do not envision your child's future through the spectacles that you got made for yourself when you were young. I mean, it's so many years that have passed. So just chill, be yourself, let the child be. There's
Right.
much more that the child can do.
Yes.
What you can envision, probably there's much more to offer. The world has to offer for the child. So yes, you're the most, well-wisher of the child. Do give your suggestion. Find out more suggestions from the world, from the environment, from your friends, from your child, from your child's friends, from your child's teachers. So this is what I would like, expand their horizon. Let them choose what they want to be or do and things like that. Of course, everybody has been talking about it, and I think NEP might put it in place. Do not lay stress on achieving high scores in exams. Absolutely not important. Whatever you may say, I don't think CBSE overnight can come to an evaluation policy or an assessment paper which will actually evaluate your child to what he's worth. So it will remain subjective, whatever changes we bring in. So you are the best judge of your child. You have seen the wholesome personality of a child. You know exactly what all your child is worthy of. In this mathematics paper, in this particular algebraic chapter of algebraic expressions, probably he has not yet picked up all the learning outcomes, but there's much more. And there is time for much more. So, I mean, this is what I mean. I would want you all to be. I mean, if you do this, what happens is then it pushes people in achieving success through rote memorization rather than actually through the learning outcomes. This is the one big negative of what you want. Thirdly, times have changed. There are multiple career options. This is probably tallying with the point number one itself, because career is what is most important to a set of parents, because they want their child to be self-sustaining most. Why, when I say career options, we just have to do a little small kind of just think within yourself. What was your typical day like? If I look at a day, probably not March 20 onwards, uske pehle ka, if I pick up a day of say 2019,
Yes.
what would have my typical day been like? I would have probably got up early, had my cup of tea, would have probably taken a short walk while listening to good music, probably, or bhajans. Certain people would have listened to bhajans or whatever, dressed up, got into your car, came in, done your work, came back listening to good music, came back, went to probably watch a movie, or probably gone for a concert, or done given us gone for a play theater or something, came back, went to a restaurant, or whatever. So just take out one day of yours and extract it, and just look at the kind of job options which are there, which are not there in our times. So if to make you happy, you do need a theatrist, you do need a filmmaker, you do need a singer, you do need a instrumentalist, where will all these people come from? How would, when you want your life to be beautiful, who will make your life beautiful? So let your child also be one of those. Why should your child only be those typical doctor, engineer, and blah, 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 blah? So identify what your child enjoys doing. It's most important to pick up a profession which is also a passion. That is actually the biggest mantra in life. Let child be happy. How would he be happy? See, whatever you may say, about 8 to 10 hours you would be giving, minimum 8 to 10 hours you'll be giving to your work life. If and 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours you'll be sleeping. So if you are spending more than one third of your, half of your waking hours doing something which you don't enjoy doing, please don't do that to the child. This is what one request to parents.
I think these are very, very powerful messages, and let me see if my almonds are working well. I'll probably pick on the messages once again. So the first thing that you said was that probably do not look at the career of your kids through your own spectacles, and probably do not. What that also means for all the parents out there is that do not maybe pass on your dreams, and don't try to live them through your kids. It might not result in a situation that you would really appreciate it later. That's one. That's a powerful message, and this is I think we'll probably utilize this platform to make this as an appeal also, that let your child discover their true potential, their interest. And I loved it, when you related it with how a day in 2019 would look like, which is a combination of food, which is a combination of music, which is a combination of art, which is a combination of a concert, which is, I think it has all great components in it. And I think and your child can be the contributor to make people's life beautiful. I'm just comparing it to that day. And you said something between, and I loved it. In fact, so all the parents out there, आप ये मत सोचना कि मैं बोल रहा हूँ. Today an educator, and I think one after the other, the educators are telling you this, that do not run blindly after marks. Yes, they are important, but not only marks are important. It has to be a combination. And you said that percentage and personality. So I think if you can have a great combination out there, holistic development and maybe academics, I think that is fair. And I think this is a message that all the parents out there should take it. And you said something. Yeah, okay. I think my almonds are serving well. I'm going to probably thank my mom for that. You said that if you can convert your passion into the profession, and I think that's a deadly combination if that can happen. And I think it's time that we through the platform we request all the parents out there to actually figure out what is it that your child is passionate about, and then maybe do some research about, can they really convert it into a profession? What would it really take? I think if you can spend energy out there, that will make a difference. What do you think?
And I
What,
think parents can do that best because they would know their children best. I mean, I feel
yeah,
they should be the best judges, of course, after the children themselves.
correct. So now that you touched upon a point that eventually for a parent it's going to be important that when the child goes into the real world, they do well in their career, and for that I think, what if the child has to be like really ready? What skills and what mindset can they pick up early that will help them stand out in the real world?
I feel the resilience is one of the most important, however, most difficult thing to pick up. It's not very easy. Uh, uh, how can we do it? Of course, we can talk about it at length, but the fact is, pandemic has shown us that the resilience is something that we must pick up. Otherwise, we really wouldn't have, if we had not really learned how to accept change or how to actually be in different times, we wouldn't have really been, we wouldn't have survived. Looking at the situation that we are in, we must also emerge as strong people, self-learners. There are so many things. If I just look into the field of education, this is a time it is very, very heavily highlighted that the conceptual learning is the most important thing that the child has picked up. Suddenly, those black and boards are missing, and the human presence of the teachers is missing, and then you're trying to struggle through the online tools. And now, of course, people have picked up and things like that. What really helped most was all those people who really found it very easy to sail through, or the students who already had those conceptual learning.
Right.
So I think it's very, very important at this point of time, and otherwise as well, that the parents and teachers, they need to provide just right experiences so the right knowledge is constructed by the learner in his brain. Any conceptual learning needs a new learning be interpreted in the terms of old, adjusting the old to allow the new. This process goes on.
Correct.
So students are making and kind of remaking schemas with every new experience. So every experience that you expose your child to, whether like experience or the exposure to experiences through, say, you've given an experiment to do, or it is a discussion in the living room with your parents, every exposure or every new experience goes and sets into or adjusts itself into the schema of the child. So all these things are very, very important, that the child learns how to construct his knowledge himself through the experiences that he picks up. Later on, when they're bad experiences, he would know what is the wheat and what is the chaff. How do you actually differentiate? How do you actually pick up what is good for you? And go on from there on. So this is,
I
I
think
would say, is most important.
yeah, if this happens, I think that will make a difference for the kids, because you spoke about you spoke about resilience, and then you also spoke about kids being self learners, and in fact a lot of things that they learned during pandemic, I think a lot of self thought process would have been involved for them to really pick up the things. And if that happens, I think it will make a difference. And I like the point when you say that even in the future, if some experience which does not fit well with them, they are able to classify that based on the previous learnings that they had.
Absolutely.
So makes sense. And looking at I've seen you, we've worked together, we were associated with you, and we've done workshops, done stuff, seen your journey. And why don't you share a little bit about your journey, because your journey is quite inspiring, from what you earlier were doing to how things are for you. And so two parts to this one. So a bit about your journey, and what made that journey really possible. So what I'm trying to also ask is, I'm diving a little deeper and asking you your personal mantras for success.
Firstly, I was born to an army family, married to an army family. So we were kind of on the move all the time. So adaptability came probably because of the situation that was thrown in. So adaptability is one mantra I will definitely tell everybody to take home, but that has been, especially in today's time, everybody's observed how important it has been. I've got to move with your cheese. I mean, we kept moving with the cheese, not literally, but moving with the transfers. And what really taught, of course, adaptability came in, and it brought in humility as well. Because at one place, I would grow to be Dean of Studies. And with the transfer of your husband, you'd move to another place where there would be a vacancy for a PRT mathematics or even PRT Hindi and things like that. So it's like all these ups and downs of life, like army gives you all kinds of houses to stay in. Sometimes you get palatial house in Lodi colony and Lodi road. And at times you get a small little basha, as it is called. It is made out of kaprel and straw and mud in some godforsaken city of JNK or wherever. So it brings a lot of humility in you, because you know that, okay, what you have today may not be with you tomorrow. So, and what happens is when you're thrown with various cultures, various communities, various kind of people, suddenly the religion or your caste, everything takes a backseat. I remember this very clearly when I was a newly married person, and some very elderly father-in-law, somebody came visiting our place and said, okay, fine. So by the way, Rita, how many Rajputs do you have in your, whatever, Sanjay's office? And that happens to be my husband. And that is when I actually sat and started kind of calculating, trying to recollect the surnames of those people and not knowing what these surnames stood for. Right. So this is what, so it teaches you to respect all cultures or religions, these intercultural learning that we are trying to teach through 21st century skills to our students were thrown in just because of the lifestyle that we adopted. So it is very important what kind of experiences you throw to your child. Another very challenging system when the computer science was brought into this India for the first time. There weren't any MCAs, there weren't any computer science engineers. People are picking up people from mathematical backgrounds because they're supposed to be logical people. So with MSc mathematics, I was picked up by a computer firm, and I was made a computer executive where I was teaching bank officials how to handle, of course, after given a training. And later on, this particular job only took me to a school where, when the school did not have computer teachers, they would outsourcing it to, not just for the hardware or software, also for the teaching part. I went into a school as a computer executive from my firm, which was called Informatics Computer Systems. And I came into a teaching line, not by choice, by chance, but lo and behold, within few weeks of being amongst children, you realize this was it. You were meant to be. And that is when I had my first child, and of course, sabbatical and coming back. And it seems to be the best choice to be. And I really, really am happy about that exposure that I had. So picking up from my life, if I would say, humility I got because of the kind of, I was willing to take whatever job had to offer, that place had to offer. Adaptability came into scene, and I became okay with whatever came into scene, and I kept moving. Before cheese moved on, I moved on because I could anticipate the changes that were coming in. And I was not limiting my domain knowledge to limited subjects. Whatever, I'm not an English person. I had become IT person, and then later on maths person. But then there was some place where there was a vacancy only for TGT English, and it happened to be a smaller city where spoken English was not very natural to people. And they offered me, will you be an English teacher? And I mean, I could speak good English, okay English, but then teaching English, not a simple thing. I took that challenge, and I taught English for 2 years. And I remember reading Shakespeare and trying to understand Julius Caesar and connecting history with the literature part of it. So all these challenges or situations that you were thrown in, you could take it as a poor situation, sit and regret, or not take it, or you take it as a challenge and better yourself. So till you keep expanding your comfort zone, you will keep expanding your competence also. This is what I feel. And one more important thing is, while you're, especially for ladies, I would say, or any relationship, when you are in relationship and things like that, you must choose your battles very smartly. You must, if you're wanting to aspire or have some particular dream, do not, people say, okay, just follow your dream and just let the people be and do what you want to do. Do not lose your sight from the dream. And I do not believe in that. I feel till you to achieve that dream, if you do not have your children with you, if you do not have your friends with you, if you do not your spouse with you, if you do not have your parents approving it, till you do not see these joys on their faces as well, you cannot really, even if you achieve that dream, whatever you're aspiring for, it is going to be of no value. So
Feel
keep,
hollow.
yeah, so keep your happiness, family, relationship, take everything. It's a very, very beautiful journey then.
I think that's a beautiful journey, and not an easy one, but a challenging one, but overall a great journey. So I was looking at the things that you mentioned, and especially all the mothers out there watching this. I think just the last conversation that just happened is actually for you, especially for you, because they say that when you take everybody together, I think the real joy is when you take everybody together. And I know that it's easier said than done, but if you take that on, and if you are sure about it, that yes, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to take everybody all together, I think that's going to be a real difference. And madam, from your journey, a few points that you stated, that for all the parents out there, for your kids to have these things at an early age, a few pointers. So one was adaptability. I think more than ever now, I think now is the need to be adaptable. And I think in times to come, it's not stopping. I think the more we increase our ability to be adaptable, the better it is. Second, you said humility. I think that's a beautiful message. And you correlated it with your journey, wherein you knew that you had those palatial houses, and but soon you might move on to a different one. So having humility is going to be very crucial. And I can say to this, and I can say this to all the parents out there, and I hope that you take it in the best of the strides, that a child will learn humility when he sees his or her parents acting out of humility. So that's something that you as a parent have to take home today. And third, you also said that take the challenges head on. The way she was not a teaching, she did not have a teaching background, but she took on a challenge, that okay, if it has come my way, let me take it up and see how it unfolds. So probably teaching your kids to take the challenges on, and don't go in the hiding zone when there is a challenge. I think these things, they make a difference. You have quite a journey, and I very happy to see how things are progressing under your leadership. And so my last, I know that with you the conversation can go on forever. We have hit that out well. What will be your concluding message to all the students out there? Because students are puzzled, they're confused, they're under stress, they're feeling that they don't know what's really happening, what's going to happen, in general or otherwise. What is your key message to all the students?
Just a few lines. Do not get confused between that short-lived pleasure with joy, which is forever. So do understand the difference between pleasure and joy, and identify those. And please seek joy if you have to seek something. That's very, very important. And go and make this world a happier place. This world really needs you.
That's powerful. So instead of seeking pleasure, seek joy, and contribute and make this world a better place than you found it. I think these are messages even for the parents, I think, and in fact for everybody. That does make a difference. And what a lovely conversation we had. And really want to thank you for being a part of this, taking out time. And I'm sure if parents, they start picking up these messages, and start implementing a bit of that in their life, it truly is going to make a difference in their families. And maybe when the kids grow up, that's when the ripple effect shows up. So thank you very much for this.